1 p.m. It is Monday, November 20th. I'm going to call the special city council meeting to order. The city secretary, please call the roll.
Mitchell.
Here.
Tobias.
Present.
Heiser.
Here.
Rizzo.
Present.
Zuniga. Bradshaw. Parsley.
Aquí estoy.
All right, all members present. We have a quorum. Next up, citizen comments. Is there anyone who wishes to come forward and speak? Seeing none, citizen comments are now closed. Next up, executive session. Pursuant to Section 551, Texas Government Code, City Council reserves the right to convene to executive session from time to time as deemed necessary. During this meeting, City Council may convene to exec pursuant to any lawful exception contained in Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, including any or all following topics: pending or contemplated litigation, settlement agreement, or seek the advice of the city attorney pursuant to Section 551.071, cause number 23-2787, John Farrar versus City of Kyle and Bryan Langley. In his official capacity as city manager of the city of Kyle, cause number 521 CV 00237, Farrar versus Barnett et al. In the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas, San Antonio Division, ETJ release petitions, possible purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate pursuant to Section 551.072, purchase of property for city facilities and public purposes, acquisition of property for transportation improvements and related infrastructure, personnel matters pursuant to Section 551.074, roles and responsibilities of the city manager, and pursuant to Section 551.087, project Hot Pursuit, Sunrise, Chia Pet, two-step. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting back to order. There was no action taken during executive session. There will be no action taken now. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Good evening, everyone. The time is 7:02 p.m. It is Monday, November 20th, and I'm going to call this regular city council meeting to order. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The city secretary, please call the roll.
Mitchell.
Here.
Tobias.
Present.
Heiser.
Here.
Rizzo.
Present.
Zuniga.
Present.
Bradshaw. Parsley.
All right, 7 members present. We have a quorum. Next up is citizen comments period. Is there anyone who wishes to come forward and speak? Seeing none, I'm going to close citizen comments period. It's now closed. Next up is agenda order. Does anybody have any desire to move any items around? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Next up is agenda item number 2, appointments. Consider the following appointments to the Economic Development and Tourism Board to fill vacant seats. Ms. Vargas.
Mayor and Council, Victoria Vargas, Director of Economic Development, for the record. Before you is an item for consideration of reappointment of Luke Miller to the board. Luke Miller has served on the board for a few years with us, and we had a panel, well, he's not a panel interviewist, but we recommend his reappointment. And then we also have Calvin Liu here with us today. The panel interviewed him, which consisted of myself and Councilmember Heiser and Susan Reyna. And Calvin and his wife are small business owners in Kyle, and they've lived here for 2 years. And we have Julian Hernandez. I don't believe he's here today, but many of you know him. He and his wife own La Ola Pop Shop in Kyle, and he's also recommended for approval for seat 4. And then Ariane Sip is not here, but she is a resident of Kyle and would like to take seat 6, the resident seat. And also Spencer Copeland is here joining us today, and he is a resident of Kyle, and he would like to join our board as a resident of the board. So our recommendation from the panel and from staff is to approve all 4 of these to the board.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any commentary? Councilor Heiser. And motions.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the 4 new members of the Economic Development Board.
Plus the reappointment.
Plus the reappointment of Luke
Second.
Miller.
Motion by Councilmember Heiser, second by the mayor. Is there discussion on that motion?
Just wanted to comment to say thank you to the people who are going to be on the Economic Development Board for giving your time and serving on such an important role in this city as we're growing faster. And that's economic development. It's just a good place to be on a board.
Calvin and Spencer
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for being here.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hey, just let the record show, Julian is on his way here, but he's stuck in apparently there's an accident by the flea market, so his
Okay.
intention was to be here.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Our motion carries 7-0. All right, next up is agenda item number 3. Consider appointment of Erica Valenzuela to seat 3, Ryan Ramirez to seat 5, and the reappointment of Anne Duhon to seat 7 of the Parks Board for a 2-year term expiring November 2025. Ms. Espinoza.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mariana Espinoza, Parks and Recreation Director. Today, we would like to recommend appointment for 3 seats of the Park and Recreation Board. The Park Board vacancies were posted online between September 17th and October 29th. The vacancies were also posted on the city's Facebook page. 6 applications were received, 6 applicants were reached out to, and 4 applicants were interviewed. Myself, Assistant City Manager Jerry Hendricks, and Councilmember Parsley were on the interview panel. Staff recommend the appointment of Erica Valenzuela to fill seat 3. She is attending virtually. Staff recommend the appointment of Ryan Ramirez to fill seat 5. He is here in person. And we recommend the reappointment of Anne Duhon to seat 7, who is unable to attend tonight. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Ms. Espinoza. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Councilmember Parsley.
I'm just really excited to see the members that are going to be reappointed, and the new members to the Parks Board. I think that we have been witnesses of the amazing improvements and the additional thought that they bring to the table. We saw that, part of that this weekend when we went to the ribbon cutting ceremony. So I'm just really excited. And I would like to make a motion to make the reappointment and appointment for the Parks Board.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilmember Parsley, seconded by Councilmember Rizzo that we approve agenda item number 3. Is there discussion on that motion? Councilmember Heiser.
I just want to say thank you and your team for such an awesome event on Saturday at La Verde. I haven't heard one bad thing about the event or the park itself, and so thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. We'll be sure to share with them.
Anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, motion carries 7-0. Next up is the consent agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to discuss any of these items, pull any of these items? Mayor Pro Tem.
On number 6, I just want to make a quick comment. Thank you, Mariana, for your response on the email for my question. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Rizzo.
Yeah, I was looking for the aerators. It's something I had been pushing for a long time. So Mariana, Benito, thank y'all for getting that done. I really
Yes.
appreciate it. It's going to improve that area so much. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Anyone else? Or motions?
I'd like to make a motion to approve items number 4 through 9 on the consent agenda item. Mayor.
Second.
All right, motion by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Parsley that we approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Is there discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, motion carries 7-0. Next up, consider possible action. Consider possible action on a Chapter 380 development agreement for Project Chia Pit, GBT Realty Corporation. Ms. Vargas.
Mayor and Council, Victoria Vargas, Director of Economic Development for the record. I'm here before you to ask for your consideration. I don't see the slides up here, but I think we've been through this many times. So Project Chia Pet is known as GBT Realty Corporation, and they will be developing a Sprouts and retail shops in the brick and mortar district. We've been through this many times, so there's some beautiful renderings here. I think the developer worked really hard and accomplished the vision that we wanted to see. So before you is the 380 and the backup material, if you would like to consider approval.
Okay, does anybody have any commentary? I would just say that I know the development and the developers have been working for a long time to bring this project together, and I appreciate y'all going back and forth with the city. You know, we're trying to make sure that the development project reaches a particular architectural and aesthetic standard. Certainly, we're excited about the Sprouts and some of that retail coming in, but it's also really important that the anchor retail project comes to fruition in a particular way to help set the tone for the brick and mortar district. You only get one chance to do an anchor project, and so thank you to Victoria and to Bryan as well for working with the developers. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
So which one of the options would that be?
Option 1.
Option 1 will be the option that the last renderings we got.
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
All right, motion by the mayor, seconded by Councilmember Parsley. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries 7-0. Next up, agenda item 11, consider possible action on a resolution to adopt Kyle design standards for the city of Kyle that will be considered for planned unit developments and incentivized project. This is Mr. Atkinson's. I think Ms. Bradshaw doesn't want to be a part of this, right?
Sure. I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm just being silly. All right, Mr. Atkinson.
All right, Will Atkinson, Planning Director for the record. This is one component of items we're bringing forward. The first one, the other one being the downtown master plan here in a month or two. This is being brought forth in resolution so we can provide a template to development when they want to come in and they want to start, if they start asking for incentives and what have you, if they want to start negotiating on development standards, we can say, this is a document that council has approved from as a resolution standpoint, and let's start talking. So back in February of 2022, y'all had discussed had a discussion regarding the creation of a design guidelines for the city. We are limited per the 2019 legislature relating to design standards. So if we're able to negotiate this overall package with them and provide incentives and what have you, this is where this comes in, so we can bring better projects to town. It'll focus primarily on the I-35 corridor, PUD development agreement projects, Vibe Trail, residential suburban development, and you can see the goals right here as well. Here are some examples. Some of these are pulled from a previous document that we've been working with for the downtown master plan, but some of them are other items that we've have had examples provided to us as well. And that is for PUD developments primarily along I-35. This is for Vibe node-centric stuff right here as well. You can see the map right there on the page. And let's see. We are asking that you all approve the resolution adopting the Kyle design standards.
All right, does anybody have any comments or questions? Councilmember Bradshaw.
how did you know? Thank you for working so hard on this. And everyone, I know other staff was involved. This has definitely been one of my passion projects and something that I think is long overdue in our city and a great start to all of the incoming development that we have. So I'm really excited that we are setting the golden standard in this way, and I hope that it creates a ripple effect and attracts some really high quality development here in Kyle. So with that, I would like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilmember Bradshaw, seconded by Councilmember Parsley, that we approve agenda item number 11. Is there discussion on the motion? Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, to add to that, yes, that was one of your passions, Ms. Bradshaw, on the getting something like this going, so that way when we have new developments, I know when we took a trip to Prospect, I remember you were showing me some of the designs, the architecture of the buildings and so forth, and how you had a vision of some of Kyle having these kind of standards and these kind of, buildings and the uniqueness of each one. So I appreciate your efforts on all that. Thank you, ma'am.
Councilmember Parsley.
I just want to say thank you to Councilmember Bradshaw and to Will for working so hard on this, because this has been a while for us to, that we have been discussing what the standards for Kyle should be. And it does also alleviate the fact that we don't have to be haggling so much with developers on what they're bringing, what the renderings are going to look like, and can we just get a little bit higher quality developments, which it has been the constant conversation we have had since basically that I can remember. So I really appreciate that this came together. I know it took a while, but good things sometimes take some time to put them together. So I appreciate the item. I'm super excited about it.
Anyone else? Councilmember Zuniga.
Thank you, Will. When or how soon can this be adopted into our code or residential planning?
So this is a resolution, and this is to provide a guiding document to developers to pull ideas from and concepts and what have you, so we can then coordinate and negotiate those. Because of the House bill that passed in 2019, that went into effect on April 1st of 2019, we can't require these aspects into our code, at least from an architectural standpoint. But the goal is to work towards a common ground with developers to provide items like what you see on the screen.
Thank you. Yes, like council member said, improving the quality of designs is important. I think the I-35 overlay corridor, you had one there with the glass, the bottom, and some steel in it, looked really nice. Looked like it really went well together in areas, node areas like that. So thank you for that, Will.
Yes, sir.
All right, anyone else? Councilman Bradshaw, I just also want to reiterate, I'm really proud of you because I think without you, this item isn't on this agenda tonight. And so it's a testament to your service and your commitment to making sure that the city of Kyle develops in the right way. I hope you're proud of this item because I'm proud of it as well. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next up
Thank
is,
you.
thank you, Will. Next up is agenda item number 12, consideration and approval of a resolution setting a public hearing. Actually, before I bring this up, is there an objection to finally passing number 8? It was first reading on the economic development changes to the board in consent. All right, seeing none, agenda item 8 is finally passed. All right, next up is agenda item number 12, consideration and approval of a resolution setting a public hearing for the creation of a tax increment reinvestment zone number 6.
Victoria Vargas, Director of Economic Development, for the record. The TERS number 6 is the downtown TERS that we had the conversation about with Counsel last week. So this is a resolution to hold the public hearing. We had a map on the, I don't know if it's on this slide, but here's the map of the approximately 244 acres, 381 parcels that we want to include in the project, the TERS number 6. We have had some preliminary conversations with our partners at the county to see if they'd like to participate. We will be taking that request forward to them in the coming weeks. And this is to create a public hearing for December the 19th.
All right, thank you, Ms. Vargas. Does anybody have any questions? Councilor Rizzo.
Yeah, Brian, just wanted to reiterate, is there a reason why we didn't go further south on the east side of the boundary there?
Can you go back to
Just
the map?
across the I-35? And I'm just thinking about the retail, potential retail that could come in there,
Yes,
capture
sir.
some dollars towards the TERS.
I know you made that comment last time. We can certainly bring back another map for the consideration when you finally approve it. This item is just the public hearing, but we can certainly come back and bring that forward on the 19th with an option for you to consider a different boundary.
So, Councilor Rizzo, you're saying south, but still, you're saying
On the other side of 35, because we still have.
on the west side of 35?
No,
or
on the east side.
East of 35,
East
but
of
further
35.
south?
Yeah,
That's what I
further south.
understood, yes, sir.
We would need to redefine
So just south of
the
150.
boundaries of downtown for us to be able to do that expansion of the TERS, change the boundaries there.
Very good.
It's a slide here.
Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. We would need to come back, and you can always expand, but at this time, the notice would be sent for this boundary if we wanted to have the public hearing on the 19th and establish the TERS before the end of the year. But then after that, we can certainly come back and expand. You can always expand.
And I'm only asking because what will really be the benefit for us to expand that TERS downtown if we are just trying to keep it for that tax revenue to come back to us? Does it make financial sense for us to be expanding it?
So the reason I would like to expand it is because I want to see downtown be developed. Are we capturing enough dollars to do that, or are we going to fall short? So that's why I'm looking at expanding to capture more dollars for the TERS to be able to finish the projects that we've have been slated with.
I understand, however, that if we expand, then we will have to leave the dollars right there too. It wouldn't be this downtown. It will be the whole thing.
Well, the dollars go to the projects that we as a council approve. So it's redefining the area that we've identified that we want to make sure that we want to improve. So what my concern is that we end up with a bunch of empty lots, and that's worse than boarded up buildings. So what I want to make sure is that we're capturing enough dollars to finish the projects, to make sure that we're bringing families and commerce back to our historic downtown. And that's all I'm trying to do.
Will a map come back to us with the redefined boundaries that are considered for the TERS?
Yeah, so I think these are the boundaries that we would have if we wanted to establish it on the 19th. I know we just did this a week ago at the last council meeting, and one of the discussions that we had was to try to make this effective this year. This is, a pretty aggressive schedule to get us on the 19th to approve it. I think is what the city attorney was saying. We can certainly come back and look at expanding it over time, adding other parcels if you want to in the future, but this would get it with this coming tax year, January of '24, would be that would be the value. But this item is not asking for whether you want to expand the TERS or not. It's simply to call the public hearing.
Well, but I guess the question is, will we have the opportunity to adjust it? Because we haven't had the chance to actually weigh in. I mean, Councilmember Rizzo's made some comments, and I'm generally open to it, but we can't take action on it right now, even if we wanted to, because this item is just set for public hearing.
Yes, you are correct, but the notice and the resolution that is on, for consideration tonight is providing a notice that will be published in the newspaper with that map that is in your agenda item backup. So if you wanted to expand it, then we would need to either hold another a special called meeting so that you could call the public hearing with a new map, or go with the map that you currently have in your backup, and then we could come back and expand it at a later date.
Okay, thank you. That's clear. Councilmember Heiser.
You just addressed what I was going to ask, but now that we have the answer, it seems like, wait, I guess we need to decide.
Is it close enough?
Yeah,
And
is
we'll
it close
adjust it down
enough,
the
or do we
road.
want to look at it? Because I don't want to say, let's do the public hearing, and then we collectively decide to expand the boundaries, and
So-
now we're just setting ourselves back on a timeline, whereas,
Well, there's two ways to view it. If the goal is to establish it by the end of the year, we need to get it established, and then we can adjust it later. Like, let's say a development proposal comes on the track just south, then we could say, we're gonna add you into the TERS at that time. But getting the TERS established by the end of the year allows for us to capture all the value that comes on board next year. So any development projects, like there are multiple within this TERS that are coming forward, we can go ahead and capture that. So, my thinking would be, even though we haven't completely nailed it down, if we're comfortable with the basics of it, we should probably move it forward. But if we say, we're just gonna wait and we're gonna make sure we get it right, and then it won't come at the end, then we have months and months. Because basically, whether you approve a TERS in January or you approve it in December, doesn't matter, because it's just within that year for when the tax rolls hit, for it to be counted.
Mayor, the only other thing that I wanted to let the council know is that when we come back with an expanded map, we would also need to have approval by the county, because the county is approving this map.
Okay. What do y'all wanna do?
Yeah, because it's like, I hear both sides. And I understand both sides. I understand where Councilman Rizzo is saying if we expand it out, we can capture more dollars that help benefit the downtown TERS. But then again, if we're focused, like what Councilmember Parsley is saying, if we're really focusing on downtown itself, including this area, why should we be expanding across the highway? And when we're trying to, it's a matter of designing the map to say, this is what downtown is, because if we say we're going to do the TERS, but then again, when people approach us, well, what's part of downtown, years from now, it's going to say, well, it also includes east side of this and east side of that. But I would like to recommend when we do the hearing, if we can get some information for the residents to understand what a TERS is and how it would benefit there. Because again, you're going to have residential, people have lived here for years, they're not going to really understand. They see this big umbrella, even though they are paying taxes, but they're going to see what will benefit later on when we have the businesses that are coming. If we could have some kind of way to where we can explain it to them during the hearing or when it comes up, so they can have a better understanding of what the overall goal is and how it would benefit infrastructure later on, new streetlights, sidewalks, and so forth, and how it can improve that, including wastewater or lines. pipes that are underneath the city right now that are just probably decaying right now, that years from now are gonna need to be repaired. Just those things.
I have a quick question. Do residential properties within a tourist they pay a special assessment, correct? No?
It would just be, it's just simply a financial vehicle, so any
Okay.
increase in taxes that they would have after the certain values established, then all that increment goes into the district to fund other projects, but you do not pay more than you would pay otherwise.
Okay.
And it's separate from zoning. I know we had some of the discussion the other day about that. It's just a financial vehicle that's overlaid under your existing zoning. No one pays any additional fees. It's just taking that increment. The idea is to drive investment in the area, and that investment generates more revenue, which can go into more projects in the downtown area.
Thank you.
And an example of that is near downtown Buda. If you notice, Buda has a lot of residential around it. Their economic development has really thrived in their downtown, and you still see a lot of the same residents there. Still very familiar with many of them, so they're doing well. So that's one of the things I went back and looked at before I even thought about even considering this. So definitely we'll be fine.
Motions?
I make a motion to approve the TERS, setting the hearing.
All right, motion by Councilmember Zuniga, seconded by Councilmember Parsley, that we approve agenda item number 12, setting the public hearing for TERS number 6. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries 7-0. All right, next up is agenda items number 13, 14, and 15. I'm going to read them into the record and bring them up collectively. 13 is a resolution of the City of Kyle, Texas, authorizing the purchasing and closing of real property located at the original Town of Kyle, Block 10, lots 9 and 10, and the original Town of Kyle, Block 10, lots 7 and 8, Kyle, Hays County, Texas, for the purchase price plus closing costs provided in the real estate sales contract. Agenda item number 14, a resolution of the City of Kyle, Texas, authorizing the purchase, closing of real property located at Kyle Original Town, Block 10, Lot 35, feet of 14-15, and the southeastern 35 feet of Lot 13, Kyle, Texas, for the purchase price plus closing costs provided for the real estate contract. And agenda item number 15, a resolution of the City of Kyle, Texas, authorizing the purchase and closing of real property located at Kyle Original Town, Block 10, Lot 3/4 of 13, 14, 15, and Kyle Original Town, Block 10, Lot 1/2 of 11-12, and the southwest quarter lot of 13, Kyle, Hays County, Texas, for the purchase price plus closing costs provided in the real estate sale contract. Does anybody have any comments to add on to this? If not, I have a motion. All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolutions authorizing the purchase and closing of the real properties described in agenda items 13, 14, and 15 for a total purchase price for the real properties just stated in the amount not to exceed $3.4 million plus closing costs, approving the purchase contracts once finalized by the city manager, and authorizing the city manager to execute any and all contracts and documents necessary to close on the purchase of the properties just stated. All right, motion by the mayor, seconded by Councilmember Parsley. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries 7-0. Next up is agenda item 16. Consider possible action for staff to bring back a property improvement plan that partners with local churches and nonprofit organizations to provide certain repairs to homeowners who cannot make these repairs themselves because of life circumstances. Councilmember Heiser.
Thank you. So I've kind of been looking around more and more lately to see what other cities are doing, to see what we can learn from them to try to create a higher quality of life for our residents. And one of those things was a property improvement program, which would allow us to partner with local nonprofits, churches, et cetera, even residents, to provide upgrades, no-cost home repairs to homeowners who can't either afford to do them themselves due to life circumstance, or are physically unable to do them, those repairs themselves. And so I really liked the idea, and I thought we could do something here in Kyle and talk to staff a little bit just to gauge the temperature on that. And there was definitely a will to, I think, to investigate. So I wanted to bring it forward to you all to see to hopefully direct staff to put together a framework of what this property improvement program could look like. Obviously, there would be parameters in place in terms of restrictions as to who and who could not apply for for this program, but I would let staff figure that out. And yeah, so that is my ask.
All right. Councilman Bradshaw.
In the motion, could you include searching for grants to fund this program? I think that's the only way I would be able to get on board to support it.
Sure, I have no problem with that.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. This could be something, are we looking like, let's say, in the Austin area, they have like Habitat for Humanity kind of deal? Is it something similar that we're looking at? I know I was approached by one of the persons from the library about something like this. And also, which local churches in town that we know of that assist some of these individuals? Are we also looking at the veterans group? Are we looking at also the Masons? I mean, I'm just throwing the names out there, not to throw them out, but just getting an idea of what it was that you're looking at on that end. And then if the staff can come back, if this goes through and staff really looks and investigates this, could this be something that's for this next 2024 added as a budget item?
Just to address the first thing that you said, and then you can jump in. I see no reason why anyone and everyone who wants to participate in a program that's built upon the idea of service can't be a part of it. So, you know, I have a handful of people and organizations who I believe would be interested in collaborating with the city to try to provide this benefit for residents who are in need.
Yeah. And to go off of that, on another personal note, everybody knows Councilman Robert Rizzo, through the years, has done a lot of volunteering on his own with different organizations. And if you see some of his posts, you know that he's helped out people who have a porch that's falling apart, or a roof that needs to be fixed, or somebody who can't get their door handle off, and I had to call him in the middle of the night to come and help me fix my lock on my door. But I think it's just things like that to where if we can establish that kind of service and work with, as a city, to the nonprofits and maybe some of the local churches, it could be something that we can help benefit those that really need the help and go from there.
Mayor,
Councilman Rizzo.
okay, just wanted to add to it. Yeah, I have no thoughts about going against something like this. I think it'd be great to be able to help those that, especially our elderly that are in our city that can't be helped. But one of the things we have to be careful with, and this is my experience working with nonprofits and working in the community with various church groups, is making sure that we have someone in the city that's providing oversight, making sure that the dollars are going where we want them to go. Because if we're really wanting to help someone, we got to make sure that we put those parameters and those safeguards in there to make sure those dollars are going into that system, to make sure that they're not being diverted somewhere else. This way it's going into the projects that we're looking at. So that's what I would really recommend. And that's something that, as working in a nonprofit, I've really prided ourselves to do, is to make sure that when we advertise something to a community, that whether it's a scholarship drive, we make sure every dollar goes into that scholarship. We don't use them for anything else. So that's something I would love to see happen.
Councilman Parsley.
Would you want it to create like a program that will partner the city with nonprofits to help residents? Because I know, like this past year, Radical Church did the Kyle Week, and then they reach out to the city to see what kind of help we needed, or if there was any organization or any resident that needed help, and they did it for a week. But, and I am totally, okay, partnering up with organizations that are going to help residents. But Councilmember Tobias brings a really good point, and it's the liability that comes with it. If the city were to do some sort of support, and then we end up doing something wrong, And so what will be the repercussions of that? So I don't know if there is a way for staff to look into possibilities of maybe creating a program, or I don't know. That I'll rely to Bryan to see what you think.
With the original concept that I've seen replicated across multiple cities had safeguards in place that address your concerns, Mr. Rizzo, and also what you were just laying out in terms of liability. And I'm open, the whole point of this item is for staff to look into the possibility of creating this program and what would be required in order to execute this program or potential program. So, I don't claim to have all the answers. I just know what I've seen in a couple different cities, and I think it would be a great value add. And if there are roadblocks that we need to address, then, we will do that when the time comes. And I'm completely open to that.
So the way I've seen programs like this work is you would have some funding that you identify in the budget process, as Councilmember Rizzo said. You'd identify the parameters under which you might award grants to individuals based on income or disabilities or whatever it might be of how you would want to award these grants. And it'd be very clear they're to choose their own contractor. The contractor performs the work. There's no liability to the city. And then we reimburse them for a portion of those costs once those costs are incurred. And then I think the other programs that Councilmember Heiser had mentioned have been really just connecting members of the community to help find some willing people that would help make those repairs with some that need it. And so I think we can certainly research all that, come back to you with a program and give you some particulars of how we could make it work if that's something that you're interested in. But I've definitely seen them work and be successful.
Kind of more like a partnership.
Yeah, so just a couple examples. I have one pulled up right now. It says repairs must fall in, quote, need rather than want categories. In other words, needed repairs are those that are essential to provide a safe living environment or to comply with property maintenance standards, whereas wants are repairs that are desired more in terms of niceties. It says assistance is limited to exterior repairs, fences, trees, shrubs, patios, porches. Work cannot be done above the first story. No plumbing, no foundation repair, no roofing, no concrete work, no electrical, no interior work. So it seems like the restrictions are trying to remove the types of repairs that have a high margin of error.
Yeah, we definitely need to investigate those, and one reason why is that I just saw an incident here in a city just north of us where a gentleman couldn't get his light after the freeze and back on because of something that happened with the electrical, and that it was something that put him out of his home. It displaced him. Unfortunately, there was nothing there for him, no help or anything. Finally, I think an electrician went out there on his own and fixed it for him, so out of his own pocket. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure that we're looking at doing our due diligence and making sure we're looking at all the needs that might happen.
So I'd like to make a motion to direct for staff to bring back a property improvement program and also to look for potential grants to fund some of the budget for this potential program.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Councilmember Heiser, seconded by the Mayor Pro Tem. Is there that we direct staff to bring back a property improvement plan proposal and to also pursue identifying grant dollars for helping to fund such a proposal? Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
That's a record.